Things that, you know, can drive a man totally insane if you let it get to him. Let it get to you. But it's funny, you know, and it's just the way it is. You know, most artists, I don't know. So that's the funny thing about having that Wimberley deal set up. Because you can create all kind of effed up environments there. It was kind of really funny because at the Wimberley deal, we, you know, it's this giant central, it's like a giant flea market. Tons of booth space there. They're all already been, most people have built up a really neat booth, but they're just renting them out. They don't care about them, you know. And the kind of stuff that's there, it's just, I don't see how anyone could go there and make money at it. It's like $60 just to rent the damn thing, you know, it's like, and then, yeah, but a lot of people come through it. It's like a giant maze, you know. And so, the last event I did like that, fall of '97, was when I was trying to seriously become a serious chicken artist. And I got this other guy to help me. I trained this other guy to help. It's like one of those anecdotes about painting and in general, and art, taking your art seriously. And so in '96, this is where actually the whole Chicken George shit got started. So I started doing this stuff, making these little paintings on wood, and even formed a fake company called Little Arkansas Painting Enterprises. I was trying to emulate Lester Roloff and being his evangelical empire, and so I was trying to evangelize the chickens. You know, it was like kind of a comedy routine. You know, where, you know, I think y'all have heard it before. So I had this one guy, Paul, and he hung out at the house and asked him if he wanted to participate in this event, and we just sit there and knock out a bunch of little paintings of roosters and try to sell them, you know, for like $20, $30. After we knocked, he just sort of copied my style. I kind of trained him, you know, and he did exactly what I would do. He even copied verbatim what they look like, you know, and framed them up. I remember buying a router and routing wood for the frames and stuff, and then it was a Craftsman router. I don't ever use routers that much, but so I went there and did this thing, and he ends up. He had one side of the booth, I had the other side, and we were going to do like a really aggressive salesman tactics. So people come in the booth and they'd be looking, and I'd say, "Don't you be looking at Paul's chickens like that. His paintings are, you know," and he'd make fun of mine, I'd make fun of his. And this is sort of like where the whole, I guess, origin of the folk duel sort of came around, you know. I mean, how that kind of humor, you're like bashing the other artists, you know, like saying they don't know what they're doing, and then they're doing the same thing, but they're doing it right there in front of them, and there's people get caught between, he's doing it to me, and we're just, and so they thought it was right. So I ended up selling like maybe $60, $80. No, I made 100 something, and he made 120. And Paul ended up beating me. It was kind of funny. So we ended up going back and just going to the bar, really, and just blowing it on hamburgers and beer, I think, you know. But that routine, I remember what was really one of the interesting side stories of that whole routine. It was building up for that. So another guy lived at our house. This guy named Jeff, and I called him the Mullet because he was a good artist, but he was crazy, and he wouldn't even let me push him around or say shit to him, you know. So he couldn't believe that I had like brainwashed. I made Paul my bitch, you know, whatever. And so I was lecturing, and Paul sat there and he told me this story after the fact. He said, "Yeah, I was sitting there in your studio. I was gone, painting these things, you know, while you weren't there." And he came in there and started lecturing him about, "Don't you have any backbone? But you know you're going to be a bitch. How could you let them tell you what to do?" And then Paul said, "Listen," he goes, "I don't care. He's letting me use his paints, all his material. All he wants me to do is knock out a bunch of damn roosters, and then might actually sell a couple of them, you know. Who cares?" And then I think Jeff goes, "Yeah, you're right." So he ended up making a rooster, which I have all three of them. Actually, I talked to one of my Chicken Dead Chicken site, one of my old entries. Because ultimately, when you get older, you're not going to get excited about anything. And the only thing you really have in the end is your imagination. Barn filled with natties before long. So they're already starting to develop. They're going to start building up. Then my mother's going to come out here and realize about how much of an alcoholic I am. This painting was invented. It was sketched out on wood. And then I started adding, somewhere I think I had drawn out to West Texas, and I added all the, it was really thick painted, or it's not painted, that's all that wood glue and tissue. But the origin of it comes from this thing called, I would call it Red's Dancing Chicken. I wanted to do this. The painting of he got all pissed off one time. This is why the folk art circuit sucks ass. Or folk, or the Pottery Barn, or the antique crowds, you know, because they're trying to sell shit, you know. And I always know about like the antique thing. They're kind of envious of artists. I talked to this one antiquer after went to the Warrenton Round Top deal, and she said, God, I wish I was an artist that could sell shit, because they don't have to go out and find the crap. Because they're dependent on going out and finding stuff. It's a lot of work. Where they just rather just sit at home and basically just whip out instant antiques and sell them for whatever, you know. Because they have the distribution, they know the distribution and stuff. But, you know, the thing is getting good backstock, or getting good shit to flip. It's getting harder and harder, you know. Well, Red sold this painting. It was upside down. He was like, something like this, you know. It was about factory farming, chicken factory farming. You know, it was like a dead chicken upside down, and his legs were up, you know. Well, the guy who had it, this antique store or something, like a high-end antique store, not no junk store. They took it and they flipped it on the website, and they called it Dancing Chicken. They didn't want to say Chicken Factory Farming. And they framed it, so they hid all the information on the back. And he told them that, you know, that some people they thought the painting was too scary. You know, factory farming chickens, too scary. It's unpleasant in an antique environment. And so they flipped it and said, I like it as Dancing Chicken. Since they own it, he's just informing him like, hey, we're improving your painting. Well, then Red just went fucking. So I just made a red, throw down the red, Dancing Chicken, you know. Jefferson Rowe, 1960. Jefferson Rowe. You know, I was thinking about him. Yeah, I made a painting about him called "You Can't Kill the Clown." I actually made 2 paintings of Jefferson Rowe. He's painting worthy. Well, you know, it's like I ended up getting a negative on one of my thumbs down on one of my videos. I thought, who in the hell would want to thumbs down me for whatever reasons? You know, I had told this stuff. I tried watching some of Jefferson's videos, but he spits them out quite a lot. Puts out a lot of videos. But you know, to me, engaging in all the bannering, it can be mind numbing after a while. Like, what the? You don't know if some people are serious or just fucking around. You know. But I tell some of my friends about all this internet shit. You gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. I try not to make it personal with anybody on this fucking thing. On the internet, because you don't know who you mess with. They may be a psycho. Someone's just totally bonkers and crazy, you know. I got enough women folk to deal with in my real life, and I have a whole host of geeky male stalkers pissed off at some shit I said at them, you know. So, Jefferson Rowe, 1960. So player piano. That painting actually got bid up to about whopping $45. I'm gonna post that up again. I love that painting. I just got to like make it better. Something about it just needs to be. It didn't have this interior hug that I like about a picture. You know. You can see how they're slowly coming along. They ain't no rush. My folks ain't wore out. They ain't sick of me yet, so I still got some time left. So yeah. I guess, you know, the thing out there in Wembley, when I started trying to get that studio going, well, I just kind of got discouraged by that. And I shot some footage with this lady that showed up there. I think it was a neighbor, basically. And she wanted to, I don't know, she thought I was basically, probably, I bet you she thought I was some kind of crackhead, you know, stealing or something. But I knew the guy who owns that, so I told her that. So she wanted to chat. So I shot some video about it. So here it is.
Hey, who are you?